Happily Ever After by Vanier. Part 4. Rain poured down in curtains, soaking Lyra's coat to the skin and plastering her mane to her horn. It seemed like a long walk from Bonbon's cottage to wherever she was going. A destination didn't seem important anymore. Nothing really did. For the first time, she felt lost in the town that she had called home. The streets were empty, and the heavens emptied upon Ponyville. Rain spilled on top of the rooftops and onto the cobblestone walkways. It was the sort of day that one spent at home curled up with a good book or a loved one.
Oh, sorry about the extra rain, Lyra.
Lyra had neither of those luxuries at the moment. She had nothing but her Lyra and her tears. A knock on the restaurant's rear door wasn't something Pokey expected during a downpour like this. Anyone with an ounce of sense would have hidden beneath the overhang or just stayed inside. Even Derpy Satura deliveries would wait inside until most of it had passed. The door swung open, revealing a sopping, wet Lyra.
What in the name of Luna are you doing out here?
May I come in? She asked. Meanwhile, outside, a certain jasmine-colored, blue-maned Pegasus by the name of Raindrops was loving the rain.
Woohoo!
Lyra walked into the kitchen, a sad, soggy mess of a pony. Pokey dug through the drawers for a hoof towel to dry Lyra's neck.
I thought you were in Canterlot until tomorrow.
I went home early, said Lyra, allowing Pokey to towel her off. I thought I'd spend some time with Bonbon before the wedding. Maybe make sure our dresses fit. Doesn't really matter, though. The wedding's off. The announcement struck Pokey like a slap to the face. Rather than coming up with an intelligent reply, he shook his head, trying to process the magnitude of what she had just told him. His jaw flapped for a moment as his mind tried to put together a coherent sentence, but came up with nothing. He finally squeezed his eyes shut and laid his face on the counter in defeat.
Lyra, don't take this the wrong way, he said with a deep sigh, but we have worked way too hard on this wedding for you to call it quits.
He picked his head off the counter.
If you don't get your sorry flake back home and make this better, I'm going to kill you. And then I'm going to have Sakura reanimate what's left and make you walk down the aisle anyway.
It's not about every pony else, said Lyra. It's about Bonbon. She called me a liar.
She's just upset.
She called me a liar! I've never lied to anyone in my life. Not a single white lie. Not one fib. Every pony expects the ability to be a little bit dishonest or conveniently forget to tell somebody something, but not me. Honesty and music are the only two things I have to be proud of. Nobody calls me a liar, Pokey. No pony! Rather than trying to argue, Pokey instead went to the pickup counter. He pointed to a white mare with a cotton candy mane eating a bowl of ice cream by herself. Lyra tilted her head, trying to see the point. What does Nurse Redheart have to do with anything? She asked.
She comes in here once a week to eat ice cream and stare out that window. She's watching the train station because her soulmate is out there, only a few days away. She decided long ago that it was too difficult to be with him. So she sits here and thinks, maybe I'll go back to him someday.
He turned to Lyra.
That's going to be you if you don't marry Bonbon this Sunday.
That doesn't even make sense, said Lyra. Bonbon will find me to apologize. Then we'll get back together and...
Have you ever met a couple that came to the wedding? Asked Pokey. It's the sort of thing that leaves a better taste in their mouths, that never goes away. Always there in the back of your mind, reminding you that the pony you wanted to spend your life with wouldn't commit. It's a seed of death that blossoms into a tree of resentment.
She wanted to call it the wedding, not me, snapped Lyra. That's why I got angry. That's why I yelled at her. That's why I left.
Because she impugned on your noble honor,
asked Pokey, a haughty wave of his hoof. Oh, like I care about that, snapped Lyra.
Like it or not, Lyra, you are a noble, and you do act like one, said Pokey. You may not be out there making commoners miserable like the rest of your brethren, but you do push ponies around.
I don't.
Yes, you do.
Pokey interrupted.
Your parents, your friends, Bonbon. You expect her to apologize for something she probably didn't realize she did. She's supported you through thick and thin, both financially and emotionally. She loves you, heart and soul. But when did the last time you did something for her?
Lyra paused to think. All the ideas for their wedding had come from her. The flower arrangements, the food, the music, the dresses. All Lyra. She had approved Pinky's insane plan for building a wedding chapel in Ponyville when Bonbon had insisted they got married in Las Vegas. Bonbon had supported them for months when Lyra hadn't gotten paid, and even as far back as when she first moved to Ponyville, Bonbon had given her a place to stay.
You have to make this right. I love you like a sister, Lyra. You've been there for me ever since I moved here, and you've treated me better than my own family. Family is the most important thing in the world. And in 2 days, you're going to get the chance to make Bonbon your family.
Lyra slumped to sit as Pokey went back to preparing his sauces on the stove. She thought back to all the things that had happened in the past few months, from the sabotage to the rumors. Throughout it all, Bonbon and Lyra stood firm together, and here Lyra was, ready to end it all over an unintended insult. Lyra put her head between her hooves. I can't go home, said Lyra. You know how Bonbon is when she's all upset, all crying and shoveling candy into her adorable, chubby little cheeks. She wanted to be, oh, I really screwed up, Pokey. What am I going to do?
You're going to give yourself time to cool off,
said Pokey, dropping a plate on the counter. He rang the counter bell with a hoof.
You're going to stay at my place tonight, and in the morning you're going to try and fix things. No one needs to know that you canceled the wedding.
Pokey turned to the waiter, grabbing the plate and grabbed his hoof.
You didn't hear that hot.
You what, sir? He asked before carrying the plate into the dining room. Pokey helped Lyra off the floor and nuzzled her wet mane.
I'll help you get through this, said Pokey. Just because you messed up doesn't mean you can't fix it.
Thanks, Pokey, said Lyra, nuzzling back. I'll see you when I get home. Lyra perked her ears at something. Did you hear a click?
Probably the stove, said Pokey, giving a kick. Things have been acting all week.
Thanks for everything, Pokey, said Lyra. Maybe I'll find some way to make it up to you.
Threesome,
asked Pokey with a hopeful smile. Lyra punched him in the shoulder for that. The rain had stopped later that evening to lit a free, beautiful summer dusk. Though the ground was wet, Carrot Top was in her garden, pulling weeds and plucking fresh carrots for her customers in Ponyville. In the garden, there was only peace. And Bonbon. She was standing in the garden like a chubby scarecrow, with eyes staring into the beyond. Carrot Top waved a hoof in front of her face, but got no response. What are you doing way out here? Asked Carrot Top.
Lyra left me,
said Bonbon in a cold, flat tone that her friend barely recognized.
Called off the wedding and just left. I don't really know where she went, so I thought I'd go for a walk.
She looked around the same blank stare.
I guess I wound up here. You have a nice garden.
Oh, no, said Carrot Top, dropping her basket. Sweetie, you can't be serious. Lyra didn't leave you. She could have. She did, said Bonbon. Just left. Maybe she'll go back to her parents and live the lifestyle of a noble mare. Maybe she'll be her Prince Charming. What about the wedding? Asked Carrot Top.
I'll just have to explain the situation to everybody as they come into town, said Bonbon. She could at least have the decency to tell him what she was doing.
She turned to look right through Carrot Top. Typical noble behavior, really. Leave the peasants to do everything.
That doesn't sound like the Lyra I know,
said Carrot Top.
Well, she wasn't sounding like herself, said Bonbon. Maybe every other pony finally got to her. Maybe she's going to start thinking like a noble now that she's gone. It's time I learned my place anyway.
Her eyes focused again as she came back to her new reality.
I should have known it wouldn't work. We're not living in a fairy tale after all. I should just find a nice man to settle down with. Somebody who's kind and sweet, with a soul as pure as diamonds. Maybe a musician.
Tears started to fill her eyes again as she turned away from Carrot Top.
I'm never going to find anyone else, she sobbed. Lyra's everything I've ever wanted, and now she's gone.
What happened? Asked Carrot Top.
She was talking about how she spent all this time in Caroline paying the streets. She stiffed. She's a professional musician for Celestia's sake. She would never do that sort of thing. What would police think if they saw her on the streets playing her lyre for change? So I called her a liar and...
Her pupils narrowed as pinpricks as she realized what she had just said.
Oh my goddess, what have I done?
What? Asked Carrot Top. Bonbon galloped through the mud and around the carts.
Hey, wait, what are you doing? Get back here!
Bonbon plowed through the muddy fields of the garden in a mad dash back to Ponyville. The one thing Lyra prided herself more on anything was her honesty.
The only trait of nobility Lyra ever displayed, aside from her bit of bossiness, was absolute honesty. To question that was the biggest insult he could think of, and Lyra and Bonbon had just tossed it out like a casual insult. She galloped outside the tables of Balloon's Cafe, where Pokey was busy turning chairs on top tables and closing up for tonight. Have you seen Lyra today? Asked Bonbon. It's really important. I really messed up, Pokey. Please, tell me you've seen her.
We need to talk, said Pokey. Lyra's...
Whatever it is, can wait, said Bonbon. If you see Lyra, please tell her to come home, please.
Pokey only nodded as Bonbon trotted off into the following night. A moment later, Hot Cuisine emerged from the restaurant and tossed his keys to Pokey.
The back door is locked, said Hot,
putting something onto his coat.
Sorry to leave you so early, sir.
Don't worry about it, said Pokey.
See you at the wedding on Sunday.
Are you certain about that? Said Hot.
Oh, I'll get things worked out. Have faith, my good pony. Pokey Pierce is not a pony who lets the dreams of others fall for his hooves.
Very well, sir, said Hot. I'll see you Sunday, then. Pokey flipped the last chair off the top of the table and stared at the blinds in a twinkle of magic. Despite the fact that they had a massive storm earlier that afternoon, it started to rain again. Raindrops looked down and said,
Hey, I hope you don't mind. It looked a little dry down here.
Pokey only grumbled as the rain fell upon him and made a mental note to talk to the Pegasi about that sort of thing. He tried to wait for the restaurant, hoping to make it home before it really started to pour again. Hot, on the other hoof, had no problems walking through the rain. His expensive raincoat kept him dry even in the worst weather, and his dedication to walk through the rainy evening only emphasized the importance of what he had to say. He walked up to the door of the cottage and knocked quietly. Bonbon opened the door a minute later.
Hot, what are you doing here?
I'm sorry, Bonbon, he said. I know it's none of my business, and you've always been a great tipper, but I can't stay quiet anymore. He pulled photographs from his coat. The photographs were of Lyra and Pokey, all of them with Pokey either smiling at her or seemingly leery. One had Pokey drying Lyra off with a towel. The last few were of Lyra, dressed to the bone, wearing a smile, nuzzling Pokey. Bonbon dropped the pictures in shock.
You're lying, said Bonbon. This can't be happening.
I didn't want to believe it either, said Hot, but she came here today, said Pokey couldn't keep his hooves off of her. He told her to go back to his place and he'd be there later. That's what I wanted. He wanted to tell you when he dropped by today. I'm so sorry, Bonbon. I saw it with my own eyes. Bonbon tried to speak, but found her voice was silenced by choking sobs. Hot stepped back into the rain and muttered an apology. He walked away in silence, leaving Bonbon on the floor of her cottage in a mess of tears. Pokey opened his apartment to find Lyra passed out on the couch. The fact that she was sleeping like one of her imaginary humans didn't really bother him, but she soon known to take the bedroom. After all, it was only polite to let the guests have the bedroom.
Ooh, Trixie is going to start the beatings.
I know. He tipped over the beer bottles, littering the floor. When he realized he had cleaned out his fridge, Pokey only sighed and jabbed her with a hoof. Lyra growled like a possum and waved off his intrusion.
Get up and go to bed, said Pokey. I'll put fresh sheets on my bed so you can sleep there for tonight.
Lyra again responded in vague mumbles. That sounds more like threats than anything else.
Get your flank off my sofa before I throw you in the tub.
You're not the boss of me, she grumbled. I'm not the boss of you. Let me go back to sleep. I'm a noble.
Sure you are, said Pokey, and I'm the Duke of Manhattan. Now get up.
Lyra squinted and stared definitely at Pokey. You know what your problem is, Pokey, said Lyra. You're not a noble. Being a noble means you get to be a jerk to everybody. Just look at all the nonsense they put me and my Bonbon through. You want to know why they're angry?
Nice explaining, more getting up, said Pokey. I don't want you throwing up on my rug. It really ties the place together.
Lyra forced herself onto her hooves and draped herself over Pokey in a drunken hug. Pokey responded by lifting her off her hooves and onto his back. Nobles all mad and stuff because they betrayed me. She waved her hoof in a circle, trying to come up with the words she wanted.
Betrothed?
Asked Pokey. That's it, said Lyra. She took her heave a few times.
I know I have fingers to snap, well, whatever. Anyway, they're so unhappy because they can't get a divorce, and they have to stay married to the same pony their whole life. Since most nobles are jerks, they get married to jerks, and that makes them unhappy. They have little foals to continue the cycle.
That's an interesting philosophy, said Pokey. So, why didn't you have an arranged marriage?
The pony I was supposed to marry was a total cold cuddler, Lyra mumbled. Dad said we should get married anyway, to keep up appearances, but Dad is full of bad ideas.
Right, said Pokey, floating her over to her bed. So the fact that you're a filly fuller had nothing to do with them canceling the wedding?
Who told you that? Demanded Lyra, saying straight up. She pointed an accusatory hoof at Pokey. I don't like mares! Pokey turned to look at her as he had 3 horns.
What do you mean you don't like Bon Bon? I don't like mares, asked Pokey. You're getting married to one in 2 days.
Bon Bon's different, mumbled Lyra. She always smells like ginger and honey. She's kind and loving and soft and sexy. She's always been there for me, no matter how dumb I'm being. When I'm away from her, it feels like I'm missing a part of myself. She laid her head on the pillow. I love her because of who she is, not because of what she's got under her tail. She could change into a stallion tomorrow, and I'd still love her. She giggled as she let her imagination wander. It'd make things way more interesting in the bedroom, too.
And on that note, said Pokey, turning to the door, good night.
Hey, Pokey?
Yeah, Lyra?
You're a good friend, she said, snuggling over her pillow. Gotta find yourself a nice mare. Only not Bon Bon. She's mine.
You too, Lyra.
Pokey left the door behind him, so he could make sure Lyra was still okay. He walked back to the mess of balls in his living room. Most were empty, but a few were still kept cold. Bourbon, and more bourbon. The girl's got good taste. He popped open one and raised his horn and sat down on the couch to have a drink. What Lyra had said had given him something to dwell on as he read through the sports page. Still, Lyra had made one hell of a mess in his apartment, and the clinking of bottles rolling across the floor breaking his concentration. His magic let go of the paper and started sweeping the balls into a paper bag. Within a few minutes, his apartment was in its usual state of acceptable squalor, and he settled in for a quiet night on the couch. Had it not been for a knock on his door, he probably would have just fallen asleep in just a moment. Behind the door, Bon Bon stood with a tear-stained face. She looked past him into the bedroom where Lyra lay, snoring on top of the sheets. Pokey opened his mouth, but found himself floored by a sucker punch. While the room spun around him, Pokey marveled at just how hard Earth ponies could punch when they were really angry, especially the mares. Bon Bon walked past Pokey's crumpled body into the bedroom. Lyra sat up, recognizing the pink and indigo locks of her partner. She rolled onto her stomach. Oh my goodness. Is that really you? She asked. Listen, I've got to tell you something. No, you listen, said Bon Bon. How dare you? I've given you everything I had. A place to live, a food to eat, a bed to sleep in, and this is how you repay me, by sleeping with Pokey! What? Asked Lyra, shaking off her buzz. Where did you get that idea? She paused to look where she was before turning back to Bon Bon. You're in his apartment, in his bed, all liquored up, she snarled. Couldn't wait to celebrate getting rid of me, could you? Why would you think I want to get rid of you? Asked Lyra. I was mad at you because you called me a liar. I'm not a liar. Then why are you sleeping with Pokey? Asked Bon Bon. Cheating is lying! Why would I sleep with Pokey? Asked Lyra. Dude's all muscly. Nice to look at, but I like my pony soft, round, warm. She put on a warm smile, just like you. Are you calling me fat? Shrieked Bon Bon. Lyra squinted in through as he tried to figure out where this conversation was headed. Continuing on the defensive meant she would have to quell whatever fears Bon Bon's favorite imagination had dreamt up, and trying to play all apologetic never worked against Bon Bon's tirades. Lyra decided to instead turn to her golden goddess-given gift of charm. Bon Bon didn't even see the kiss coming.
But she didn't resist it when Lyra pulled her to the bed. The confusion was enough to break her rage for a moment, so that Lyra could get in a word. "I'm sorry for everything," she said, patting Bon Bon's sleek curls with one hoof, stroking her chopped teeth with the other. "I've been acting like a jerk. I don't know where you get the ideas about Pokey and I, but I have eyes," she kissed her again, "and lips only for you." She nibbled Bon Bon's ear, still whispering in a hypnotic voice. "If you don't want to get married this weekend, that's up to you. I'll be ready for you whenever you want me. I'm forever yours, and no pony in the world will ever keep us apart." "No apologies," said Lyra. "Today never happened. Just lay back and let me take care of you." Pokey found enough strength to peel himself off the floor. His most pressing concern at the moment was make sure that Bon Bon didn't murder Lyra. He staggered to his bedroom and found the two mares engaged in rigorous, non-murdering activities. With a shake of his head, he closed the door. He was definitely going to have to wash those seats. Ooh, oh my. It's morning. The thought passed through Pokey's mind as a statement rather than an acknowledgement of his existence. Whatever time it was just way too early. More importantly, whatever was in the kitchen making all that noise woke him up was going to receive a swift kick in the tail. Pokey stumbled to find Bon Bon happily humming in front of the stove. "Good morning," she said with a smile. "How do you take your eggs?" "Fried," mumbled Pokey, walking to his table. "I'm glad to see you two back together." "Oh, well, yes," said Bon Bon, embarrassed cough. "Misunderstandings happen to us all the time. It's just part of relationships, I guess. Did you sleep well?" "You whinny like a banshee, and I have paper-thin walls," said Pokey. "So, no." Bon Bon nearly dropped her spatula as her cheeks flushed near purple. She stammered, trying to say something, only to squeak out what might have been an apology. Pokey laid his head on the table and closed his eyes. "Ah, so that seems to be your near constant across the multiverse." "Good morning," shouted Lyra. "Please shut up," Pokey begged. "Why aren't you hungover?" "I have a proud lineage of noble drunkards," Lyra answered. "In other news, I had a revelation this night." Pokey was far too tired to offer a snarky comment about what sort of revelations he could have had. He instead kept his eyes closed and head on the table. "I figured I've been going about this thing all wrong," continued Lyra. "As Bon Bon proved last night, going on the offensive is, by far, the best way to deal with any problem. We've been running around like a bunch of fools trying to dodge rumors and sneak around. No more! Today, we take the fight to them. Announcements in all the papers, on billboards. Take us to skywriting if we have to." She reared back and put her hose on her hips. "We'll invite everyone we can to this wedding, because come hell or high water, this wedding is happening tomorrow! We will not be silenced by those who would oppress us. Where's the radio? I need some patriotic music behind me for this kind of speech." "Your wedding is tomorrow," said Pokey. "Plus, you're both broke." "Oh, yeah," said Lyra, diving back onto all four hooves. I'm sure we'll be fine. Over easy. Please, Bon Bon. Hey, where did you get those sheets, Pokey? They're really nice." The two mares left Pokey's apartment soon after breakfast, leaving Pokey with a mess of dishes. In true bachelor style, he promptly ignored them and flopped on the couch instead, and began to drift off to sleep, when an incessant pounding on his door demanded his attention. Pokey opened the door to Carrot Top, who smacked in the face of a rolled-up tabloid. "You rotten jerk!" screamed Carrot Top. "How could you do this after everything we've done for them?" "What are you talking about?" demanded Pokey. "I swear, if one more mare hurts me—" "This!" said Carrot Top, pointing to a tabloid. A grainy photograph of Lyra nuzzling Pokey in the restaurant's kitchen stared back at him. It certainly looked incriminating, and the headline of "Noble and Scandalous Affair with Local Chef" didn't help. Pokey put his hoof in his head and started laughing. "This isn't funny, Pokey! This is serious! Why are you canoodling with Lyra? Why are you three in some kind of sick, kicking triangle? What are you laughing at?"
"Do me a favor," asked Pokey as he wiped away tears of laughter. "There's a sack full of bits under my bed. Bring them to the courthouse this afternoon so you can bail me out."
"What?" asked Carrot Top. "You're not making any sense, Pokey."
"I know who the leak is now," he said.
"What leak?" asked Carrot Top. "What are you talking about?"
"And I'm going to kick them in the teeth," said Pokey, still off in his own conversation.
Who? No, wait, said Carrot Top, shaking her head in confusion. How does this article tell you anything? I mean, you're not sleeping with Lyra.
Of course not, said Pokey. Lyra and Bonbon are soulmates, and getting away with that is seriously bad karma. No, this photo tells me everything I need to know about our leak. Now, I can kill them.
That's a bit extreme, said Carrot Top. Look, why don't you bring it up with everybody else? I'm sure we can think of a peaceful solution to all of this.
Fine, said Pokey. We're probably late for our meeting with the rest of them anyway.
A short walk later, the pair found themselves at the door of the chapel. Lit by the sunlight filtering through the massive glass-stained window, Pinky's party pony stood awaiting the arrival of Carrot Top and Pokey. The moment Carrot Top and Pokey walked through the chapel, Berry Punch eagerly demonstrated why her last name was Punch. A double-hoof uppercut sent Pokey crashing mane over tail into the pews. And Carrot Top severed the path of the charging minister as Pokey picked himself on the floor.
Pokey is most definitely not sleeping with Lyra,
said Carrot Top. Berry Punch paused to hear Carrot Top out before resuming her assault on Pokey.
It's just all another piece of the plot against those two. Pokey says he knows who's been causing all these problems.
Berry put down her hose, waiting for an explanation. Pokey pushed himself onto his hose and steadied himself on a pew. He dipped out of Ponyville and into unconsciousness for a moment, but managed to hang on long enough to deliver an explanation. He focused on Rarity and Pinky a moment, waiting for them to stop spinning around the room.
I know where and when this photograph is taken,
said Pokey, rubbing his jaw.
There's only one pony who could have done it. Snappy Scoops. I can't believe I didn't think about it before. Lyra and I heard a click that I thought was my oven. She was standing in the dining room, and I looked right past her.
What?
Asked Rarity.
Oh my, are you sure? She always seemed like such a fantastic player. I never imagined her to be a mole for the nobility.
Oh, wait a sec, said Berry. Isn't she the photographer for the wedding?
Well, not anymore,
said Carrot Top.
When I find her,
I'll handle her, growled Pinky. I have something special I do for mean ponies.
Her normally poofy mane hung flat against her head, over one of her eyes.
Pinky, did you change your horn?
Flat iron, she said, running a hoof over her life. What do you think? I tried a regular iron, but I kept burning my head. Doesn't worry. I'll make sure she's never mean to any pony again.
She bolted for the chapel in a pink blur that left the door flapping in the breeze.
I suddenly feel very, very sorry for Snappy, said Pokey. But there's one thing we have to worry about. It says in the article that Duke Averando himself is coming into town tomorrow to put a stop to this embarrassment.
Good luck with that, said Berry. I've done 16 weddings this week, including one that surprised both the participants. I found my calling, and if this Duke thinks he can stop Berry Punch from marrying people, I'm going to shove that orange mane of his straight through his—
About that,
Rarity interrupted.
Pinkie Pie and I were discussing that very issue last night, and I might have a solution. It's divine in its simplicity.
Well, let's hurt, said Carrot Top.
Well, I'll explain it later. The happy couple are on their way to the shop already, and your tardiness means I haven't a moment to spare. I'll see you and Pokey at Carousel Boutique this evening. Ta-ta!
With a flash of her mane and tail, Rarity trotted through the doors of the chapel and out onto the streets of Ponyville. Pony stood there, trying to parse an explanation for Rarity's cryptic wording. They shrugged in unison. The plan was probably something Pinkie Pie came up with, meaning it was so insane, it just might work.